Hey everybody, it's Farand Wasiak. I'm here with IACIS Vice President Brent Whale. Brent, how are you doing today or tomorrow? I know you're from New Zealand, halfway across the globe for me.
Hey, Woz, I'm good, thanks. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
No, yeah, pleasure to have you. Your history, I understand you were with the Customs Service in New Zealand, 22 years with the Customs Service. Tell us your history, work history. I'm sure it had to do something with digital forensics, incident response with the New Zealand Customs Service.
Yeah, I'm a little older than that. Back when I was a customs officer, my history included investigations and intelligence. I worked out of our police national headquarters down in our capital in Wellington, doing drug intelligence work. But then I came back to Auckland, back to our main city, which is my home, and I got involved in doing the child abuse, child exploitation type work for importations. But back at that stage, CD-ROMs were new, so the porn industry were embracing technology, and dial-up modems with a little screechy internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no incident response back then when I started, but set up their forensic lab back in about 2000, and grew that lab from nothing, and then moved on and came into private business. So I've been 12 years on my own now. Thoroughly enjoy it.
Oh, okay. All right. With that, I know since you're the vice president of IACIS, you're going to have a little bit of IACIS history. Can you tell for our viewers your baby days of IACIS to what led you to today's assignment, or I guess you could say your position as vice president?
Sure. So I was a student in 2001. From New Zealand, we obviously had no local-based computer forensic training. Came up to the US, to Orlando, and loved it. Suddenly I was surrounded by people that understood what my work was about. You know, they knew what dealing with child exploitation images was like. All the things that I had no peers in New Zealand to relate to. So did my training, did my certification, and started helping out in the problem development field. So being from New Zealand, I was able to help salt some image files, doing some email header work by creating an email account down here and sending messages back and forwards, playing the role of the bad guy. And then was picked up by the problem development people within IACIS and never looked back. So came up as peer review staff within the training committee. Was involved in CD file systems, was one of our modules back in the day. Small scale devices, the fat file system. So had some time with training, but certification was really my thing. Became the regional manager, looked after the Asia Pacific region. Over time, that developed into a whole division. So the division for international people I'd take care of for certification, and then ultimately a board position. So IACIS career for 20 odd years, 12 years now as a board member, coming to the end of my fourth term. So I feel like an old guy, and so I should. It's been that way for a while, but I get inspired by the new people as much as the guys that have been around, and it's the enthusiasm and the drive and that thirst for knowledge that the new folks have that motivates me. So it's not always the other way, I like to think I motivate others, but I get that same motivation from the new folks. So it works well for me.
All right. That's quite the tenure at IACIS. I think out of the 5 or 6 we've done, obviously you've been the longest standing guest we've had so far. So I can see why you've been on the board for 12 years and now the vice president. You also did, or I should say, you should be a part of the culture of IACIS. There's the web page on the website, the humans of IACIS. Can you speak a little bit on that venture?
Yeah, so my first board role was standards, and standards is pretty dry. It's quality assurance and it's accreditation, and they're kind of important but hard work. Not a whole lot of recognition. And then I picked up the marketing role and been involved a little bit more about social media and putting the face of IACIS out there to the people. And we came up with an idea of humans of IACIS, just to highlight who's behind the organisation. The real people, not just their business front. It's not the suit and tie photo; it's the casual photo of the member fishing or doing something that's important to them. They might be in a band or have some other interests. And Humans of IACIS page was a little bit about showcasing our people and what makes them tick, what motivates them, and their backgrounds.
Okay, I was actually featured in that last year, and I did all the classic pictures: the fishing, the photography in the wilderness, the hunting, the mountain biking, the hiking, and I just wanted to. Well, and then there was just one of me on the couch with my dogs watching whatever. I think we were binging The Office at the time, so I just wanted to make sure that I do just lay around on weekends like nothing's happening, because I'm not that active. Those are just the showcase pictures. It was a pleasure to be on that page, and also I noticed volunteering last year. A few students would come up to me and they recognized me from the Humans of IACIS webpage. Just based on that web page alone, so it is effective, and it does work, and it gives a great feeling to the volunteers that they are being showcased in the human form, rather than just digital forensics, incident response. Here we are. So that is a great aspect of everything with that.
Well, thank you.
Also have absolutely no, thank you for featuring me last year. And you also have a new project similar to that, where you want to focus on the lifetime members. You want to do a same sort of collaboration for the members, or I guess you could say a focus on them, the lifetime members.
Yeah. So when I picked up the vice president role earlier this year in May, when the board met, we reallocated the positions, and I was thrilled, really happy to be the vice president, and I was able to take responsibility for the lifetime members, which would never fall anywhere. No one's really managed them as a group previously. So just researching who they are, I think we got to 44, found a few more that were never on our database, but going back through the old minutes, found records way back in the late 90s. Of people that were granted lifetime membership status, and now hunting them down, finding out where they're at now and a little bit about their history. So the web page for them will be a lot like the Humans of IACIS. It'll just showcase who our lifetime members are, what their work history was, what their IACIS history was, and a little bit about where they're at now. And it's been fun. It's been really neat to catch up with some of these people that I knew previously, and to meet some people that I'd never met previously. But a very, very impressive group of people. And once I get a few more of their bios arrive, I've got about half at the moment, then I'll make the page go live. So that'll hopefully be very early next year.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's soon. That aspect's great, because for newcomers, it'll show. I got into this actual line of work in 2005, but it'll show the beginning. I guess you could say the beginning stages of digital forensics, because a pretty modern science as far as all sciences go. Maybe rivals DNA as far as modern forensic science goes. So that'll be good to see how. I don't know if you did any digital forensics on punch cards or anything like that, but at least with the floppy disks and I know I had the 8 gigabyte hard drives. That's when I started getting to the field. So it's good to see a history of the science of the discipline.
Yeah, our certification problem set used to be based on floppy disks, so 1.4 meg worth of data, and it was ideal teaching format. It was small enough so if you had to go through every single sector, you could, but obviously that those days had to move on. We had to modernize and work with larger capacity data sets. But they were fun. It was good. The floppy disk days have fond memories.
What? Okay, the floppy disk days. How that certification was that? And I'm joking here. Half a day, 7 minutes, and then you were done, or was the software at the same rate that it is now that it took you a few weeks to do?
So there were no automated tools back then. They were a big no-no that you had to use manual tools to do your investigation. Big discussions when we moved on to allowing automated tools. But we even had a problem set once that had a blank floppy with no evidence on it at all. There was nothing. There wasn't even a volume label there. And part of the requirement was that the student had to recognize that, hey, this piece of media's got nothing, and report on that and move on. We used to do six floppy disk problems, and then a hard drive would be physically shipped out. So you'd receive the hard drive in a courier, and it had been hashed before it was sent out to you, and obviously you had to make your examination, send it back, and it would be hashed when the hard drive was returned to the IACIS distributor. And if you'd stepped on the media, then you failed the process. There were no second chances if you stepped on the media. So it's not too dissimilar to what we're doing, but a whole lot clunkier. Would take a lot longer with couriering drives around the world.
Yeah, we have a saying in America, or maybe in North America. We walked uphill both ways to school in the snow, and we liked it. So it's sort of like that. We didn't have all these fancy tools you kooky kids have today, but that's how everything's based. That's what everything's based on is, the zeros and ones, sectors, all of that. So that's and which still holds true today. It just so happens we have automated tools that sort of do the job for us, but we still have to understand the zeros and ones. So,
yeah.
Excellent. You have a vice president subcommittee on volunteer management. Can you get into that just a little bit, please?
Yeah, so that's pretty much what we're doing now is just trying to reach out and let people know that we have a whole lot of different roles within the organization where people can volunteer. And the idea is to match those people with their skill sets and their passion. So someone like yourself, you're running our podcasts and doing this type of work as a volunteer, which is a whole lot different to your peer review coach assisting a student through their certification. What my new volunteer management team is all about is to identify people's passions. And when you're volunteering with your passion, it all comes from your heart, and it's not work. It's not a chore. It's something that you look forward to doing each day. And if we get that balance right, where the people enjoy what they're doing for the greater good, because IACIS is all about looking after the law enforcement officers and teaching them the skills they need to solve crimes. And so you go to bed at night and you feel happy. You've done good in the world. I used to always kind of compare it, like back in my law enforcement days. Over a year, I might do 3 or 4 really significant jobs that really made a difference to the community, to the country with some bad guys going to prison, and a whole lot of minor jobs, but maybe 3 or 4 annually that were really significant. But if we go out and we teach 300 students in Orlando, and they do 3 or 4 jobs each every year, then it's just compounding. The good that that's doing in the world year after year just gets more and more. So no, I love it. It's the passion. You align the volunteer with their passion, and they support the organisation, and we make an impact. So yeah, that's what it's all about. So the volunteer management role is just aligning people with the right role. And we have even within certification, if we need peer review coaches, that's what makes us tick. But they also have all their problem development teams, creating problem sets, the questions, the quality assurance process. Then we have an ethics committee that has investigators to make sure that our staff and our members, our candidates and students all conduct themselves appropriately. There's the training committee. So each year when they're introducing new software, new Windows environments, their manuals need updating, their problems need updating. So there's roles all over the place that people can do outside of being a peer review coach. And it's just a matter of working with the person, seeing what they want to do, what their passion is, and then lining them up in the right spot.
I found out you talk about the volunteer benefits. Going to Orlando or just being a volunteer in general for IACIS, the networking and the amount of resources it gives you just from your peers, and as well as I've learned more volunteering than I have being taught a class, because you actually fully immerse yourself into it, and with that it really forces you to learn, and not only that, but you're part of the actual instruction. So it refreshes you and keeps you current. That's one of the biggest aspects or benefits I've felt from that is networking, unlimited resources, and just keeps you in tip-top shape.
Yeah. So Jimmy Wegg was one of our lifetime members, and he was our listserv guru. So Jimmy was on the list all the time, and his passion was when someone would post a question and he didn't know the answer. They're the ones he liked, not the ones he could answer off the bat. But he would go out and research and learn and come up with a result or an answer for the person. And that's where he got his passion from, because he would learn from their problems, and that would increase his skill set, his knowledge base. Like teaching, you upskill to instruct a class, and you're getting as much benefit as the student is, because you're making sure you can answer those questions from the floor. Back in my certification days as a regional manager, I'd be marking exams, and I'd go through all the students' answers, and I was sharp. Back then, I would know the answer to every question. I'd memorize it because you're doing exam after exam, and it's automated now. But back then, it was I was learning as much as the students were learning, just from being immersed in it. And some of their techniques and some of their answers, were not what was in the coach's notes, but they were equally correct. The benefit to the individual through volunteering is as great as the person they're assisting.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And IACIS doesn't let hard work or anything go unnoticed. There is a volunteer awards program. Can you tell us a little bit about these awards that are handed out on a yearly basis?
Yeah, so we have obviously the key award is the Lifetime Members Award, and we probably have nowadays we're probably getting 2 or 3 people being recognised annually as new lifetime members. And they're people that have been, 10 plus years of volunteering consistently at a very high level. And then we have an annual award called the Volunteer Recognition Award, the VRA. and that's for your one, maybe two people that have really stood out over the year, done something particularly special. So not just a good solid job, but that person that's really risen to the top and been able to demonstrate something particularly special over the year. And then we're looking at we will be having a new award. I'm not sure if it's ready for announcement yet, but yeah, we'll be rolling out a new award in 2023. So there'll be three different types of awards that'll be on an annual basis, as a way of just recognising what the volunteers do for us. But on top of that, over a number of years now, the volunteers have had their annual dues paid. So each year that they're not having to pay their $75 to maintain their membership. So that continues for the active volunteers. But I've been able to set up a program where the active volunteers can attend our online training and certification programs. So we've got two at the moment, the Windows Forensic Examiner and the associated certification, the COFFEE. And the other one is the Mobile Device Forensics and the ICMDE certification that goes with that. So our volunteers have been able to choose one of those online programs and watch the videos, go through the practical exercises that are part of that training, and then sit the certification. And next year in 23, we'll offer it up again so the volunteers can take the other program, or if for whatever reason they didn't complete it the first time around, they have the option of resitting that. So that's a benefit. And then just recently, we've been able to partner with one of our sponsors, MSAB, who are funding a couple of volunteers to fly into Orlando next year, attend the mobile training. It'll pay for the flights, regardless of where in the world you are. Wherever you live in the world, you can fly to Orlando, have a week in the Caribe Royale Hotel, attend the training, and the tab will be picked up for them. So that's another benefit for our volunteers. And I've been working with marketing. There won't be more rolling out in 2022, but obviously this is an initiative that's been popular. And we'll try to add more of these types of benefits for the volunteers next year.
Anybody taking the MDF certification, you may recognize a familiar face in it, but I'm just, you may recognize somebody in that. Brent, excellent. Anything else to close out just on the volunteer portion before we talk a little bit about the holidays and a little bit about New Zealand? Anything else to close out on this part?
Volunteering at IACIS.com. Send an email in. We'll take a look at it, see what we can do for you. Maybe you're an active volunteer now and you're looking to move on and do something different within the organisation. Maybe you haven't volunteered before, you're not sure how to start. Send the message in, we'll have a chat and line you up best we can with what your passion is.
Excellent. New Zealand, I understand when we had our pre-production meeting, which I think I knew this from 9th grade earth science, it's summertime. It's just becoming summertime in New Zealand, correct?
Yeah, so we're mid-December here at the moment. So I'm looking out the window. I can't say it's a gorgeous blue sky day, but yeah, it's summertime. So not just as the time zone difference from you in the US, I'm a day ahead, but yeah, a season ahead also. So yeah, so we're coming up Christmas. Summer Christmas and winter Christmas, no doubt, are quite different. We would be doing things like a picnic on the beach, where you're taking a picnic hamper and a cooked ham, and you make some ham sandwiches and sit on the beach, have a quiet drink, and go for a swim. Christmas Day. There's no snow. So people will decorate their houses with artificial snow around the windows and things. But it's summer, shorts and a t-shirt.
Does Santa Claus wear shorts and a t-shirt, or does he sweat all the time when he's delivering presents on Christmas Eve there?
I've never seen him.
Neither have I. Well, I thought I did as a kid, but it turns out that was just one of his helpers. So here in America, we do turkey, ham. That's what pretty much I'm used to. The Italian population, they like their lasagnas and all that good stuff. It's just a great food fest. How's the I know the weather's summertime. You gotta excuse my voice and everything. I've got I guess it's just a cold. So I'm very much down the weather. Our production guy, Kyle, he told me just to make sure my voice was good to go. So I've been peppermint tea with hot honey. And that's it. There's nothing else in it. I wish there was, but I'll wait till next week for that activity. But I do have documentation from a medical professional. I do not have COVID. I do not have the flu, and I do not have strep throat. So I have documentation. I will not be a super spreader at any holiday events or gatherings, which start for me tomorrow. I just so happen to be normal sick, a cold, but it's taken its toll on me, but at least my voice held out for this.
Yeah, so I'm the same. I'm nearly 2 weeks with a head cold, no COVID.
Wow.
But yeah, a little bit nasally, I sound a little bit different to normal. But being summer here and Christmas, this is where Kiwis, New Zealanders, take their summer holidays. So with the Christmas break and the New Year's break, pretty much the country shuts down for a couple of weeks. And prior to Christmas, right through to 5, 6 January, nothing goes on here except holidays. You call them vacations, but yeah, holiday time. Everyone leaves the city, goes to the beach, and hangs out, has a good time. Lots of drinking. Yeah, bit of decompression from the work throughout the year. So yeah, it's our summer break time.
Nice. Things casually slow down here, but it's I guess it doesn't completely shut down, but it's still a joyous time here. It's Christmas. Brent Whale, Vice President, IACIS. I appreciate you being on, sir. Happy holidays to you, and we'll be seeing you in April in sunny Orlando, Florida.
Great. Hey, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much, Waz.